welcome to another episode of A Bad Idea of a Podcast. And you see a man right there with like a really friendly face and with a big smile. He's Gee Griffiths. But before I introduce him, I need to do a proper Bad Idea introduction, right? So it's time to know a man who is a volunteer, entrepreneur. He is a former player. He's a coach. He is willing to help promote American football in the UK and around Europe. He is Gee Griffiths.
What a great introduction. No, brilliant. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
It's an honor to be here.
How you doing? Finally.
I'm doing great. Yeah, we missed each other a couple of times, but we finally got there. So, no, it's a pleasure.
Gee, I saw your profile and I saw your resume. And first of all, we need to say that you're the commissioner, and hopefully I said correctly, the commissioner for disability and wheelchair American football at the British American Football Association, BAFA, in the UK, right?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit what you do?
So, okay, 2 years ago, I approached BAFA as the governing body for American football and asked if anyone had ever thought about wheelchair American football. So taking the sport that we know and basically making it accessible and inclusive to as many people as we can.
Okay.
I did some research. It's not played anywhere else in the world. That they do it currently in America, but only at elite level. So I want to what I'm doing is starting at grassroots, so that anybody's got that. It's that accessibility. You know, the Americans play the sport, but it's locked, so nobody else can play it unless you're an elite athlete. So to me, there's no inspiration there. You know, how can people have idols in a sport when they can't play themselves?
Everyone start thinking about American football, like probably the first thing that come to your head or to your mind, it's flag football, right? But why you decided to go and promote wheelchair American football? Because to be honest, it's quite amazing.
No, thank you. So for me, American football's been, you know, I've loved it since I was a child. Like you mentioned, I played in the early days, did a bit of coaching, and now I'm chairman at the same team I played at. So it hit me one day when I saw some wheelchair basketball players, and the cogs started turning, and I started thinking, I wonder if anyone's actually put wheelchairs and American football together. And lo and behold, hadn't been done, especially in the UK. So I spoke to my head coach at the time, who was an American guy, Levi Edwards, and asked him, you know, back home, have they ever done it? And it's never been played as a league. It's been tried. There's a company called, or association called Move United in America. They're the main association that are behind disability sports over there. So they're the association behind what the Americans play as wheelchair American football. And then the only other way of playing is in sort of universities. They do the odd exhibition day and trial day to see. I think as part of a disability program, they will hold a disability football session. Well, that's about the whole of it. So I started thinking, well, you know, it's something that obviously there's a need for, because wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby are so big.
Yes.
Then why can't American football? American football is such an amazing sport. It's so addictive, and there's all these people out there now that have never had the opportunity to be able to play, or they've played in the past and through, you know, illness or an accident, they're now not able to play. So let's give these people the opportunity to be able to play. So I sat down and started working on it, devising. I spoke a lot with Move United in the beginning, getting some advice and tips from them. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to, but I didn't feel that the UK had the abilities to go down the same route as America. So, very short background. They play outdoors.
Hmm.
They play on the car parks of the NFL teams. So they have 10 teams at total at the moment, which are all NFL based. And they play, so they will play on a 80-yard pitch, which is marked out by cones and
Hmm.
pylons on the car park of that stadium. We don't have the facilities in the UK and probably in the most of Europe as well to be able to play outdoors whenever we want on that sort of facility.
Yeah.
So I automatically shrunk it down so we can play it on a basketball court.
Good idea.
It makes it accessible. Everywhere in the world has access to basketball courts. Again, whether
Yeah.
that is indoors or outdoors, depending on the weather of the country. It also, to me, made the game safer because the speeds and the collisions that happen when you're traveling 80 yards in a wheelchair as an elite athlete is, yeah, some of the crashes you see, they make spectacular footage to see,
Yeah.
but when you're trying to encourage people to take on a new sport, it's not very productive
Yeah, but
because
wait,
people
wait,
see it and go, ah.
but wait. Okay, so how do you convince people on wheelchair? Because I mean, I think that like the job that you are doing right now, it's like really remarkable because helping people with disabilities, I always think that it's going to be something really rewarding for yourself, right? But how you convince them to say, you know what, you want to do some sport, right? Because okay, now you have this situation, but you can do sports. So I have this idea. What if you put on a helmet and a pads and go crash another guy on helmet and pads? How you convince them to do that? Because to be honest, for me, it's really amazing. It's the first time in my life I saw it.
it's it's a lot easier than you think. A lot of people who play disability sports do more than one sport,
Yeah.
mainly for the simple reason there's not many options out there. So they will tend to offer them something new, which is very exciting. Um, no one's actually gone, oh no, I'm not doing that. And everyone that's tried it has gone, well, when's the next session? Can we carry on? Can we have another half an hour before we have to go? And these are also people that have, a lot of them have never even seen American football before because they've never been interested.
Yeah.
So to give them sort of the opportunity to try something new is half of the allure to people trying. But then also a huge thing for me, which I really love, is the London games. Gives me the opportunity to. I always get there early. I won't walk around, and anybody I see who would have a disability, I'll go up and speak to them. So already you have a captive audience of people who love American football.
Yes.
And these people are also in a position where they're not able to play currently. So to walk up to somebody who may be an amputee or somebody who's in a wheelchair and say, you know, start talking about the football, what have you, and then say, "Have you ever thought of playing?" And I guarantee I get sworn at a lot. um,
I can imagine.
yeah, and it's then when you explain what I'm doing, and all of a sudden this sort of like weight is lifted, and you can it's as if you can see it on them, and they
Yeah.
go, "What? I can actually play." I said, "Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do. We're trying to
Yeah.
build an opportunity for everybody to play, and the amount of people that are like, oh my god, yeah, oh, I'd love to be able to do that." And the beauty is, with regular American football, you need to be fit, you need to be younger, you
Yeah.
need to have the ability and the physicality to play. In wheelchair American football, your age, your ability sort of is second. It's your chair skills. So as long as you can maneuver your chair and you can develop those skills to move a chair,
Yeah.
then you can play. And also, you don't have to be, for example, lineman. You don't have to be the big, burly, very strong person to be a lineman. You just have to have the decent chair skills for that position. So,
Okay.
someone who might, in the previous life, maybe been a quarterback or a receiver and have always secretly fancied being a lineman, they can do it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
But then
you can be whatever you want in
exactly,
wheelchair American football. That's nice.
exactly. And the funniest thing for me is when I was trialing it and I was using university football players to help me out. So these guys already had the football skills, and every team, everyone, the quarterback, like, oh, I'm playing quarterback, I'm playing quarterback. So that's fine. And myself and my coaches would always have a bit of a laugh to ourselves because as soon as you sit into a chair, you're strapped in. All your knowledge of being a quarterback is just thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Because everything you're taught as a regular quarterback is from the waist down. So all of
Yeah.
a sudden, all your skills from the waist down have just been disability. So you can't position your feet, you can't turn your hips. So as a seasoned quarterback, it takes them a few hours or a couple of sessions sometimes to be able to actually learn to throw a ball again.
Yeah.
So it also brings the sport to a level playing field. So even if you had a team of guys who regularly play football or have played in the past, they have to start from the beginning again. So it levels that playing field out so everyone has a very equal opportunity to play.
Yeah. So you're helping them to get like a different, like a set skills. Because as you
Yeah,
said, if you become a quarterback and like before you have any type of disability and now you want to do it at the same time playing a wheelchair and like a wheelchair American football is going to be different because you need to move your hips and move your arms
exactly.
and you need to learn something different. That's pretty amazing. And how difficult has been for you and for all the people who play wheelchair American football in the UK to be accepted? Because we know that everyone says, yeah, we want to be inclusive, we want to help people with disabilities, but in the truth, in the real life, how difficult has been or how easy has been for you?
Everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks anything to do with disability and making sports inclusive is the best idea, and it's the right way. It's the right thing to do. It's the proper thing to do. I find a lot of people who, myself, when I first started, I've never done anything with disabled people, disabled sports. Um, so it was a very quick eye opener for myself. Um, but it was something so humbling as well. I still feel that what I do is just I'm doing it because I enjoy it and I love what I'm doing. And everyone keeps saying to me, "No, what you're doing is something a lot bigger than what you sort of take on." You know, um, but yes, everyone wants to help. I find a lot of people are scared, so trying to get coaches on board. I find one of the biggest barriers is they're quite scared. They don't know how to say things. They don't know what to say. What if I upset someone?
Yeah.
And to me, it's speak to them like they're a human being. Yeah, they're just a human being. Don't treat them any differently. Nobody needs, labeling. Nobody needs treated differently. Those skills become a lot easier the more you do it. The more you speak to people. Yes, people's different disabilities need taken into consideration, but the longer you do it and the longer you speak to people, those things become apparent and they just become a matter of course. That you don't see a person's disability, you just see, okay, how do I get about this? For example, in regular football, all our footballs are at a certain they're pumped up to a certain weight and they're checked before each games. One of the things I put into the rules is, excuse me, if you have a team with people with less hand dexterity than others, let's take a bit of air out that football. That means that football then becomes easier for everybody to handle. So
Yeah.
it becomes fair across everybody that's playing. So it's adding those sorts of little things that again, I keep using the word, it makes it accessible, it makes it inclusive to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's also a sport where, like with basketball and rugby, able-bodied people are allowed to play. Able-bodied people are allowed to take part and join. But the difference I've made is we only allow one able-bodied person per team on the court at a time, or on the pitch at a time. So again, I didn't want this sport taken over by maybe a team of able-bodied American footballers who think they want to come and take over the sport and be the
Yeah.
we want to be the champions, and that's not why I created this. It's not why I've developed it. I've developed this so we can offer it out and get more people who have never had the opportunity to be able to play.
And Guy, do you see yourself as a game changer? Because I honestly think that you're not only helping people with disabilities, but people who are not disabled. You're helping them to understand their world and understand them. They're as equal as we are.
Yeah, in simple, no. Like I say, and it's something lots of people keep telling me off about. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the pleasure it's giving to other people. For example, I had in the early days, there was a gentleman who got in touch with me who used to play for the London Monarchs a long time ago. Went out to join the British Army. Unfortunately, lost his legs. But American football was still his passion. Always thought that when he went out to war, he'd come back and carry on and continue playing. But obviously that stopped. So he'd never had that. He'd never had that chance to say goodbye to American football. So even now, some 30 odd years down the line, he was still hurting. Found out what we were doing, and by the end of a telephone call we had, this gentleman was crying, and he was saying, "I can't believe you gave me the opportunity to play again, coach." So again, it's giving people that passion they had in their life, or something that they're missing, but also introducing something they don't know they're missing yet. We all know what this sport does for us, and it is, it's not just a sport like others. I don't feel the passions in it in other sports, maybe like with soccer and what have you. American football is a passion. It becomes a life. It's a community. And again, it's one thing that this does. It opens the doors between the disability community and the American football community and brings them in together, which again is two areas where you'd never put those two together in the past. One of the things I always say, which is on my leaflets and what have you that I do, is don't just watch a sport, now come and take part.
Do you think that UK is ready to export the sport to other countries here in Europe, or it's something that you need first to like consolidate in the UK and then you can probably export it?
So since I started doing this, I've also been asked to join IFAF.
Mm-hmm.
So those who don't know, IFAF is the International Federation for American Football. So it's the global governing body, as so to say, for American football. So as part of IFAF, I'm part of a development team for inclusivity. So at the moment, there's myself, Phoebe Shetler, and some members from America. Being the two countries that do it, we're working together. And yes, one of the things that has come about, especially through my LinkedIn, what have you, I've had several countries come to me and say, how do we take part? How do we do the sport in our country? So it's ready, it's there, and people are wanting it for their own countries across Europe. Even I've had people in Canada, Gridiron Australia. I've had quite a few conversations where they're ready to roll it out in Australia. The only thing that's holding people back at the moment is we're waiting for the majority of the countries basically to tell IFAF whether they want to go down the American route or the British route. As soon as we get that decision, then it's obviously the rules. The British rules are there on the BAFA website. The American rules are on their website. So it's ready to basically say, yes, we want to do it. This is the set of rules that IFAF are recommending. Up you go. So the interest is there, the support is there, the infrastructure is all there, and sort of I say the experts are there with myself and the guys that move,
Mhm.
depending which way the rest of the world want to go, really. So that's all that's holding this back. But the interest is definitely there, and I truly believe this will be the next sort of, I would say, like flag football with it.
Okay.
With obviously it's going to help us as a sport. Like football gets into the Olympics, there's that thought then already. Well, are we going to have a Paralympic version? Are we going to have an Invictus Games version? And if so, there's sort of me in the background going, "Hello, I'm here."
We're ready to
So
go to the Olympics. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So the seeds are already there, ready planted to sort of, yeah, we're the seed at the moment, and we're growing this huge oak tree that will be wheelchair American football, whether it be in two different versions, and then played internationally as one. Um, but yeah, it will be a worldwide sport. Trust me.
Nice, nice. And you said it here first. Because my next question was, do you ever imagine to have like a World Cup of wheelchair American football?
I would. The
Okay.
I cannot wait for the day we have the world's first wheelchair Super Bowl.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing to hold it outside of America, because I believe that the version we've created in the UK and the one I'd like to see in Europe,
Mhm.
um, I'm not saying it's a better version. I think it's a more accessible and more sustainable version.
Okay.
So I believe that because the way we're publicising it and we're trying to do it from grassroots, I think it it's not going to be a sport where the Americans become the leaders, because their vision is elite level only. There's no growth, there's no nurturing of players.
Yes.
Whereas in the UK or Europe, there will be that pathway to create, the best elite players that country have. So I do truly believe that, maybe 5, 10 years time, that maybe the UK or another country in Europe will be sort of the world leaders in wheelchair American football, and it won't be the Americans, which is great for the sport because it shows natural growth in a sport, and
Yes.
it's not centralized in one place, which makes it then, like I said earlier on, an even playing field for things like Olympics and world sports and Invictus Games. The whole world becomes an even playing field, and everyone has the same opportunity. It's just down to your coaching and your player skills then.
Yeah. And also, if you manage to get this sport as a Paralympic sport, wow, will be
Yes,
mind blowing, to be honest.
it would. My up to now in this journey, my biggest day was when BAFA got in touch and said, we've signed off on the rule book. It's now published. So that day was like mind blowing for me, because like,
Yeah.
wow, my rules are there now. They're set in stone. No matter what happens in 50 years' time, these rules are going to be there, and it's a legacy for my children. So to then take it to that next level of having it as a Paralympic game or Invictus game would be
Yeah.
just, yeah, mind blowing.
How do you see yourself and the sport and all the teams that you're helping right now in 5 years' time?
I would like to think in sort of 5 years' time, my job's a lot easier. I haven't got to go around the country promoting.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'll be doing that till the day they drag me away. But yeah, I think I'm hoping that in 5 years' time we'll have a proper competitive league in the UK, and we'll have sort of the beginnings of that elite level pathway. One of the other things I'm doing in the UK is, so I'm running two strands basically. So a non-military side, which just regular teams, and then I'm also now looking at veterans charities, so we can start getting veterans into playing. So it's sort of already thinking maybe 5 years time when Invictus start knocking on the door, saying, right, this is what you need to do to become an Invictus game or whatever. So I can already say, well, yes, we've already got 10 military teams around the country. So again, that pathway to being an Invictus team, that pathway's already started. Rather than having to start from scratch in 5 years' time, let's be there when that sort of phone call comes.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. I want to see that. I want to see how the sport develop in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing, to be honest. Guy, we're going to the last part of the podcast. Okay. So it's a 2-minute warning for you. You know, the name of the podcast is a bad idea for podcast. So can you share with us a bad idea that in the end turned out to become a good idea?
Well, I think the only thing I can say is starting playing when I was 14.
Okay.
There'll be many of your viewers and listeners who'll know, American football has taken over their lives, whether it be as a fan, as a player, coach, what have you. And sometimes parents have said it was a bad idea to play when I used to be an offensive lineman, and I was mainly a centre, and I guarantee that I'd have broken fingers every week, going to high school with broken fingers. So back then it was a bit of a bad idea to maybe start playing. But now, look at where I am. I've gone full circle with the club I used to play for. I've gone from being a player to helping out coaching when I was younger, to being the general manager, and now chairman. So I've gone full circle there, and I wouldn't change that for the world. But also from that bad idea of discovering to play, I'm also now developed a brand new version of the sport for hopefully for the world. My rule book's been published and it's there now as a legacy. So I can't think of anything better, really, a better outcome that has come from this. It is a part of the sport that was missing, and I think it's been something that BAFA have wanted to do for a long time. It was part of their 10-year vision to make American football inclusive. And I think all they were waiting for is someone like myself to come along and say, well, will you let me do it?
Yeah. Wow.
And they have, and they've been very supportive, and it's onward and upwards. We're making a change. We're breaking down those barriers. We are having an effect on people's lives in a hugely positive, and we're introducing this amazing sport to people that would never have thought before, oh, I want to go and play American football. Never mind, we're now getting people to watch it on the TV, to now go to the London games, and they're now interested in something different that they never thought of. So it's been a huge eye-opener for myself. I've met some absolutely amazing people along the road. People like yourself are also helping me to promote the game as well, which is invaluable for myself. So no, it's an amazing journey, and I'm sort of 1 mile in on a worldwide walk, basically.
Yeah.
So we're still at the early days. We're still at the beginning, and there's plenty of time to come yet.
Wow. Amazing story, amazing bad idea, turned out good idea. And let me tell you, you are a true game changer, because you're going to be in the books of history as one of the first people to promote this sport, to be this inclusive with people and let people to have a second opportunities, because for many of those, they need to have a second opportunity, probably first opportunity to know the sport. So you are a truly game changer.
Thank you. No, it's an honor, and it's a pleasure. And like I said, it's just me being me and doing something I enjoy.
Nice. Guy, I really thank you for all your words, for your time, for sharing your passion and your vision of wheelchair American football with us, and to know a little bit more of the sport. And hopefully that in the near future, the sport develop in the way you want it and the way you expect it.
Definitely. And when we set something up in France, we'll invite you along, and we'll do a live one.
Yeah, for sure. We will be there.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was amazing and truly inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. See you around.
Speak to you soon. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.